to Lincoln High School in Tacoma, Washington. That wasn't his real name, and he was new there just like me. He was pretty peaceful, though. He had a hippie name. That wasn't his real name, but it's what he went by. And he was real quiet. You know, he was nice and peaceful, but he was real quiet. And they called me cowboy there. And, you know, I wasn't ever a cowboy. But I'm a white kid who kind of dresses, I guess. I didn't dress good, but I guess I did dress like a lumberjack sometimes. It was the 90s. Anyway, one day there's all these black kids wanting to see these retard fights. That's what it was called when I was growing up. People thought it was hilarious. It's fucking inhumane as all hell. Anyway, they're all standing around, a whole bunch of black kids. Obviously, not every black kid in the school took part, but there was enough that literally they're telling us that me and him need to fight. You know, I got some black kids that are telling me, hey man, that guy over there is talking shit about your mom. You need to go beat his ass. Well, there was some black kids going over there and telling him the same thing. And, you know, here's the thing. Me and him were both cool with each other. We were talking nicely to each other, right? We even shook hands. So when we shook hands, one of them black kids pushed him into me, and we bumped heads off each other. Not hard, but enough that it wasn't cool. Neither one of us liked it. And then we got a bunch of black kids go, man, I seen that. Fucking that white boy hit you. You gonna let that white boy punk you? You gonna let him punk you like that? Get that white boy. Fuck. Cowboy, you gonna let that man do that to you? You a fucking chump, cowboy. Like, fuck, man. First of all, I ain't no goddamn cowboy. And second of all, I don't want to fight this kid, and he don't want to fight me. That was after school. I knew if I didn't get home, and I had to walk home from school, I knew if I didn't get home from school fast enough, my dad was going to be pissed off because he expected me to spend 2 hours learning HTML so that I could make him some porno websites. I knew if I didn't get home, there was going to be consequences. And here I am, this fucking scrawny-ass white kid, 15 years old, Tacoma, Washington. It's a minority school. I've grown up with minorities most of my life. I wasn't raised by my fucking parents. My parents are white people. Some of the people I was raised by that were in the system that were staff members were white. Some of them were not. Most of the kids that I was with were the ones who raised me. And most of them were not white. So me and this Clover kid, a lot of people made fun of him for being a homosexual because he was called Clover. And he wasn't a homosexual to my knowledge. And even if he was, who fucking cares? Now, some of them black kids later on, they tried to punk him the same way that they tried to punk me. Like when that black kid wanted to take my backpack and put it in the girls' bathroom. I let him know under no uncertain terms that he was going to go in there and he was going to get my backpack out of the girls' restroom. He put it in there. He's getting it out. Finally, some girl that felt sorry for him because he was that fucking afraid of me went in and got my backpack. You know what I did? I set it right back down across the threshold into the girls' restroom, and I said, he's gonna get it. I'm not gonna be fucking punked. And yeah, he's surrounded by all of his black friends, and they saying to him, you gonna let that white boy punk you like that? You goddamn right he did. I grew up in the fucking system. He knew he needed to be afraid. He did go back in and get my backpack, by the way. Now, Clover, when he had that issue, shit, that was a full on fight. Clover, this real peaceful kid, he didn't want to fight. When they were trying to make him and I fight, it was pushing him into me. So here's what went down with Clover. There's these three black kids, right? And they're shoving Clover. They're just pushing and a shoving and a pushing and a shoving. And they're yelling at him, too. Call me the N-word. I dare you. Come on, cracker. Come on, honky. What the fuck you got? Huh? What, bitch? What? Go ahead. Call me the N-word. I know you want to. It was probably about the 7th or 8th shove that he got from them three black kids. The only words that came out of his mouth were, oh, hell no. His fucking fist caught one of them kids right in the fucking chin. Fuck, it landed beautifully. I mean, that guy's head went straight sideways and everything, but didn't faze him. And those three black kids proceeded to beat the fuck out of him. Of course, those very same three kids, along with several other kids, wanted to catch me after school one day, and they wanted me to slap box them. And they weren't slapping. They're like, yeah, it's just light touch. It's just light touch. Come on, white boy, you ain't afraid, eh? Is you? What do you mean, is you? Say that at the dinner table. I bet your mama smacked that right out your face. How many of you black mothers out there would slap the stupid off your son's face for speaking of ebonics at the dinner table? I don't know how many black mothers I have heard say, boy, I taught you better than that. Boy, didn't I teach you better than that? Didn't your mama teach you better than that? I know I did. I'm your mama. And you say, oh, they didn't mean nothing by it. No, those kids did. They wanted to dominate him and they wanted to dominate me. When it came to slap boxing, guess how many times I slapped the other kid? None. When I was in Pine Ridge Job Corps Center, there was one of the black men there who wanted to slap box me too. Guess how many times I slapped him? None. It's just light touch. It's just light touch. Now, Lincoln High School, when that kid was doing that to me. No, I didn't want to fucking do that. It was kind of the situation like when they thought me and Clover ought to fight. They were fucking pushing us into each other and saying, oh, see, he hit you. He hit you. No, you fucking pushed him into me. Knock it off. The day I punked that kid that put my stuff in the girls' bathroom, yeah, it got to the point that his friends were pushing him into me. You gonna do something. And they were trying to fucking egg me into it too. They're like, hey man, fucking I seen him push you. No, you pushed him into me. When they got fucking fed up with him, they took away his black card. If you don't know what that means, well, maybe you should ask somebody. You know what giving up your black card is, don't you? That's when you're in the system and you're a black kid and you think that you're going to punk a white kid and he beats you up. You wanted to bully him. You wanted to get into the fight. When you get punked by a white kid, that's even worse. Your black friends abandon you at that point, and they invite that white boy to come sit in your place at their dinner table. Those black kids invite you, that white kid, over to play cards with them. You're allowed to take that black kid's place when they play spades. It ain't no fun. It sucks being a fucking white kid in the system, and it sucks being a white kid in a minority fucking school. It sucks being told that I don't know a goddamn thing about adversity or racial violence because of my skin color. I couldn't possibly. Kind of like because of my gender, I couldn't possibly know what it's like to be raped. Because of my gender, I must be guilty. A black kid could never possibly be a predator. Right? A lot of people try selling me that bullshit that black people can't be racist. Only white people can be racist because black people are oppressed. The poor are oppressed, stupid. Our rights are based on fucking income. If you don't have money to hire a real fucking lawyer, people can do whatever the fuck they want to you whenever they want. There is a way past that. Have friends or family member who care enough to go in with you when you are victimized to turn it in. Me and Clover got along just fine. We didn't talk to each other. We avoided each other like the fucking plague. It's not that we didn't like each other. We did like each other. We just didn't want to have any problems because we were both two white kids, and two white kids together in the same place without supervision of a fucking teacher could very easily result in two white kids being shoved into each other and possibly resulting in injuries against both white kids because they were shoved into each other so fucking hard. What did Clover do after he got his ass kicked? Did he go to the ambulance? No. Did he go to the teachers? No. He picked up his backpack and went back to fucking class. Or got on the bus or walked home. When it's that whole slapboxing thing, it ain't slapboxing. Neither one of the people, well, the guy at Job Corps was a lot nicer than the kid I went to high school with in Tacoma. That guy was fucking palming me in the side of the head fucking hard. It wasn't slapping. It wasn't light touch slapping. That's what he was calling it. It's slap boxing. Of course, by the end of it, after he'd fucking palmed me about 30 fucking times in the goddamn head, what does he say to me? White boy got spirit. White boy got some spirit. And that magically makes it okay. White boy got some heart. Heart of a lion. Whatever, dude. He just cornered me over by the fucking side of the school. And fucking you and your buddies wouldn't let me leave. You fucking smacked me in the side of the head, a whole fucking bunch. Now I'm magically accepted a little bit because I let you fucking smack on me over and over again. I fucking hate violence. But it is 100% okay to defend yourself, even if you're quote unquote mentally ill. If you have depression, that doesn't make it okay for somebody to fucking rape you. It doesn't make it okay to call you mentally ill and pretend like you're schizophrenic because you have depression. It doesn't make it okay to pretend you weren't raped because you have depression. And it certainly isn't okay to victimize the living fuck out of you for having trauma reactions to traumatic experiences. Having a trauma reaction to a traumatic experience, you can see how if it's a pretty white hair or pretty blonde haired, blue eyed white girl in a house, how the police are your best friend and they're going to do everything that they can to help you out. But if it's an ugly homeless white man on the streets, regardless of skin color, his chances of being victimized or arrested for trying to turn in his predators are fucking phenomenal. I can't count the number of times that I've seen homeless people being arrested after being assaulted. I don't know how many times I've seen a homeless person get assaulted by somebody who isn't homeless, and then get assaulted by the police because they were being arrested after being assaulted. They tried telling the officers what was going on. The cops didn't fucking care. It's a homeless person. If you try to fucking tell them what's going on, they're going to beat the fuck out of you. That's why all these homeless people that I went to are fucking cowards. They all got fucking flashbacks and memories of that shit happening to them. Hell no, they ain't got the balls to stand up to it. They're just gonna bitch about it. They're gonna bitch about it for 20 fucking years. But they're gonna tell you that you just need to let it go, even if it just happened 10 minutes ago. You're out of your fucking minds. How much options did Clover have when he was getting assaulted by those 3 black kids? Well, they gave him that whole heart of a lion shit after he got his ass kicked, actually. The whole, you got heart. White boys got heart. White boys got heart. They did the same thing with him they did to me when it was the slap boxing thing. And I remember some of the other black kids screaming at me while I was getting fucking palmed in the side of the head. White boy, he trying to hurt you. Fucking, he ain't playing. You need to beat his ass. Fuck no. I'm smarter than that. If I'd have swung even once, he'd have used that as an excuse to beat the fuck out of me. It wasn't about slap boxing. It was about looking for an excuse. It was about backing me into a corner and poking me with a fucking stick until I responded. No matter how many times he had to poke me with a stick. Metaphorically, it's a stick. But literally, it is social isolation. Isolation from any sort of help or assistance. Socially, it's multiple black kids working together in that situation. Just like it was multiple drug addicts working together in the Natalie Bollinger situation. Just as it was multiple sex offenders working together. It was a lot of people and their friends doing horrible shit over fucking assumptions. Them black kids, the reason they took their shit out on me is because they thought it was okay. They thought they'd see what I was worth. You know what happens if you go to the fucking people that you're supposed to? Well, then it goes from being an ass whooping that you got once and a white boy's got heart, white boy got heart, and they just fuck with you sporadically after that, to, yeah, they might fucking pull a drive-by on your motherfucking house, bitch. I did not live in a nice fucking neighborhood. I lived on the one nice section of the street in the middle of the motherfucking ghetto in Tacoma, Washington. A lot of y'all want to say, oh, there ain't no ghettos in Tacoma. Really? There ain't no projects in Tacoma? There ain't no low-income shithouses. There ain't no goddamn slumlords. Wasn't 10 times what the place is worth for rent. You out your goddamn mind, son. See, that's one thing that is my dad's major motivator is money. He used to be sex and money, but now that he's had his chest cracked open for open heart surgery, well, sex is kind of off the menu, poor guy. I wonder if it's made him any less of a fucking pervert. Probably not. So we got all these places, these safety nets in place that are supposed to protect an at-risk adult from this kind of abuse. Safety nets like the police. And if the police don't do their job, there's a safety net to protect you in that scenario. But when you have to go in alone and all these people have to say is, oh, I've got an overwhelming caseload, or they hang up on you when they find out you're homeless, or they hang up on you when they find out that some of your predators are police officers, it shows blatantly and outright that it has nothing to do with the law. What it has to do with ease of victimization. How easy is it for you to get away with not doing your job when it's a homeless and disabled male? Well, since nobody cares about us, it's pretty fucking easy. How easy is it for you to get away with not doing your job when it's a rich white girl? Or a rich white man? So you guys always want to push this white people, white people. Which white people are you talking about? You accusing all white people of being racist hillbillies? While you're accusing all white people of being racist lawmakers? While a lot of fucking white people are standing up for your fucking rights. At the expense, literally, of their own rights. They're doing this. And you still just going to blame all white people. You still just going to blame all men. When a man is raped, you're going to use the excuse of, well, it's more often that women are raped. Are you sure about that? There are a lot of us men out there, a lot of us, who are victims of sexual abuse and sexual assault growing up. 29 million of us here in the United States. 29 million males in the United States were victims of sexual assault before turning age 18. That's not insignificant. Then we're told that we need to allow transgender bathrooms. I would much rather have the way the Romans did it. You wear clothing that doesn't expose your goodies and you have a public restroom. You also have someone appointed at that restroom, so if something happens, it can be stopped immediately. That is deterrent. I needed a friend or family member there when I turned in these crimes to deter officers and DHS from blowing me off and repeatedly sending me to other places. If you go in alone, they have zero incentive to do their job, especially if you're trying to turn them in. When I tried to turn in Amanda Jonas and her fellow officers, what happened? I was sent to Amanda Jonas to have her investigated. Then the people who were supposedly going to help me, Alyssa Rainwater and her mother, Mandy Hughes, completely misled the situation, or Officer Amanda Jonas completely misled the situation, because their words, which are both recorded on my YouTube channel, do not line up. A lot of people tell me to do things I've already done. At the very beginning, I didn't have all of this shit, and it took time to learn how to do these things and to get the money to buy all of this shit for all of this stuff that you wanted me to do. And once I had that stuff, you could help me, you promised. But once I had that stuff, you disappeared. You wanted to get involved, and then you wanted to tell me you didn't want to get involved. Well, you shouldn't have gotten involved if you didn't want to get involved. If you didn't have time to get involved because you're too busy, well, you weren't too busy to get involved. So what the fuck are you talking about? When you watch one of these Natalie things and you want to fucking get a hold of me, and you want to fucking take up hours and hours, even some of you months of my time with empty promises, and then fucking talking over me, making literally zero attempt to help me to turn this shit in, or even listen to the story. I mean, here's the important thing about both the evidence and the story. The story is real. The evidence proves it. But you're busy arguing with me over what you think and what you heard. You're busy shoving fucking tinfoil hat conspiracy bullshit at me at the expense of many others. A lot of the people who promised to help me that didn't keep their word, later on they wanted to say, oh, well, you know what, Sean? I'm black. And we're more fucked up than you. We get it worse than you do. No, the fuck you don't. You're a black man in a house. Don't fucking lie to me, bitch. I'm not fucking retarded. I don't just believe everything that I'm fucking told. I'm not just going to believe everything everybody tells me about the Tacoma fucking projects. I've been to the Tacoma projects. I'm not just going to believe everything that people tell me about Skid Row in Los Angeles. I've been to Skid Row in Los Angeles. I'm not just going to believe everything people tell me about drug addicts, because I know way too many drug addicts. I'm not just going to believe what I'm fucking told by the news. I've seen what they did to my situation, to paint me as a fucking monster, to ignore literally all of the help that I tried to get stopping the fucking abuse by Natalie and her friends, when they made fake accounts over and over and over again before she was fucking killed to fucking harass me. And when I would speak up and try to get help, they'd go, oh, see, he's stalking me. No, I was trying to get fucking help and they knew it. That's why they kept slandering my name. Just like the police do. They intentionally make it their word versus ours, so that we're not heard, so that they automatically win. That's what happens. When you make the victim go in by themselves, you guarantee that it'll be their word versus the fucking cops. Even if they fucking record it, they need you to help them to turn it in when you record it. Or you will be fucking abused even more by whatever agency you are sent to. Failure to do your duty as a mandated reporter does constitute abuse. Assault against at-risk adults in your care does constitute abuse. Matter of fact, in both of these cases, it constitutes felony abuse by DHS and by local law enforcement in many places across the United States. I was in 5 of, according to the Denver Post, I was in 5 of the worst state jails in Colorado. I was also in 5 of the most corrupt counties in Colorado. I turned in multiple predators in law enforcement that later were arrested for doing those things to others. Some of those things resulting in death. Not just officers working for the same department, but literally the same officers. The fact that law enforcement was allowed to destroy their body camera evidence by preventing me from turning them in, preventing me from having access to my friends and family, preventing me from having access to the evidence, preventing me even from having access to my telephones. No matter what, when I tried to turn in the evidence to the police of the abuse that was happening, I was either sent to a hospital and called mentally ill, or I was locked up and fucking assaulted repeatedly. In Boulder County Jail, those son of the bitches, first thing in the morning, right after they arrested me, threw my fucking breakfast across the floor through the slot in the door. When you're abused by law enforcement and your friends to the point that you want your life to end, it is social isolation and abuse that has pushed you to that point. And what do they do to help you when you have been bullied to the point that you want your life to end? But instead of trying to end your life, you're trying to turn in the bullies. And what do? They lock you up on suicide watch, destroy your credibility as a victim. Now you're just a fucking crazy person. And nobody fucking cares. You deserve it because you're a crazy person. You're all pieces of shit just for watching my channel and not speaking up. This is not how any person should have to try to turn in their fucking predators.